What's up guys? So in today's video I'll be showing you guys how I edit my Instagram photos, and I'll kind of go through like the process that I take to get the Instagram look or my Instagram look, and I'll go through like what I do to make the collages on my Instagram page and how I achieve the colors and stuff. So yeah, let's get started. Before we get started, I use a thing called VSCO Film, and it's basically VSCO presets for the desktop, and so it color grades your photos to an extent, and then you can play with it and make it like your own filter. And so that's what I use to give myself like a starting point before I make the edit like kind of my own. So I'll put this link in the description below if you guys want to check it out. And then so this is basically what it does. It color grades your photos. So yeah, let's open up Lightroom. These are some photos I took today with my friend Nikita, and I'll basically edit each one and show you guys like the process, and I'll kind of explain why I'm doing what I'm doing to the photo, and so you guys can understand and basically find out how I started with it and then how I got my outcome. So on the left I have a bunch of filters that I made my own from the VSCO Film presets, and so you can see here are the VSCO Film presets, and there's a whole lot of them, so you can just click some and find like the look you want. But yeah, okay, let's begin. Okay, so first I start with my basic edited preset, which is Filmy, and then I go in and I look basically at the colors and everything, and then I change it to how I want it to be. So for this photo I think it's a little too bright, so I would go to this region over here, and I'll change the lighting a little bit and make the darkers more dark, and then it kind of makes the colors pop out more. I'll turn down the shadows a little bit, and I kind of like the grainy look because it adds like an aesthetic look to it, I don't know. And then after that I go to the hue part, and I kind of change the colors that I don't like. This would be way too green, and so I want a more yellowish look because the sunlight. Change that. I think her skin tone is like perfect the way it is, so I'll leave that alone. I personally don't like the look that the tones add to the photo. I'm just gonna leave it alone. And then for fade, sometimes it's really nice, but other times it's not. So like in this case it's not, because it makes her really faded out and it makes the colors not look really good. And then so this is the look overall. Alright, let's move on to the next photo. Okay, so this photo is further back, and I'll use the same preset. I'll start out, but as you can see everything's really saturated and it's really bright and gross, and I don't know, it just hurts your eyes kind of to look at. I'm going to try fade, and I actually like the way fade looks, but now since there's fade, the blue is really not saturated, so I'll turn that back up just a little bit, like right there. Maybe instead of turning up the contrast, I'll play with like the lights and the darks and the shadows. For this photo I think it's done too, because it's a more like muted kind of like pastel look for each color, and I think I like it so far. So we have this one, and then we have this one. I don't really think I like the look of Filmy on these, because something about the color and the background doesn't look so great. So I'm actually going to make it all black and white. I think the black and white looks good because it makes the background like one solid color, so you can't really tell the difference between the sun and the sky, because in the color one the sun would be really bright white and then the sky would be blue, so I don't like that. I would like it to be one color. I think this one is okay because it's further away, so I want it to be like more faded. For this one I kind of want her to pop out more, so I'll turn down the darks, and make her more contrasted to the background. So I think this is good enough now, so I'll export this. So I start with filmy, and then I see that her skin is really pink, and I don't like that in this situation because of the dark shadows. I don't know, something about the dark shadows and her skin looking pink does not look really appealing. So I'll go ahead and change that by going to hue, and then I'll click this, click her skin, and then see where her skin would be most normal. I think like right around there. She doesn't look as pink, which is good. And then for the rest, I'll see what happens if I play around with this. So I like to play with like the light and the shadows first, and then I'll go into color, or I'll go into contrast, and I'll go into grain and stuff afterwards. Noted that too. Low boost, if anything. Like if you want to make your darks more light, then use low boost. I think it's okay dark because I really like the shadow pattern on her, so I'll just keep it the way it is. So after that, this is something new that I learned. You can actually take these tools up here and kind of make it really cool, because I'll just put this around her eye, and since her eye is in light, I'm going to try to emphasize it more. So I'll move this to the shape of her eye. So, and then right now it looks really weird, but I'll go back here, click this, change this to make it not change the color, and then invert it because I just want it to be the eyes, and then change all this back to normal. Turn up the exposure, turn up the contrast, turn up the sharpness. Let's see. And so you get like this lighter look in her eyes, which makes it pop out more. Okay, let's edit the last photo. As usual, I'll begin with the filmy preset. I am definitely going to turn down the blue because I want this piece to kind of like, or not this piece, but this photo to kind of be darker because it shows a lot of emotion. And then the darker it is, the more the stars on her face pops out. Okay, I like that. I'm going to turn on high squash, turn her skin tone to less pink and more orange. This is what fade does. See, and this is the before fade, and this is the after fade. You can tell like it makes it one like unified photo, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I like the grain in this one. I don't want the fade in this one. The shadows I think are getting too dark, so maybe I'll use a light or a low boost. Oh yeah, you don't want to play with saturation that much unless you're going for a more pastel look because it really loses the color. Instead, you should play with vibrancy because that makes it like keep its color but then add some pop to it. After I'm done with that, I go into Photoshop and I think of collage ideas. And then I'll put that like that, just so it's full resolution. And either I can either keep it like this, because I honestly think that looks really cool, but I also want to have a different look. Let's see. So in collage, I just kind of play around with the position of each one and the size of each one. So, alright, I think I like this the best, so I'm just going to save this. Alright, so that's the end of my video. I hope you guys found it really useful, or like at least helpful, so then you guys can take this knowledge and apply to your own photos and your own photography editing if you guys do photography. And so this is the lens that I use. It's a Sigma 35mm f1.4 Sigma art lens, And I think this lens is probably my favorite lens because it captures color really well. Since it's an art lens, I think that's what it does. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!